Here we go, and it's time for another sprint zone. This one's for 4-8. Getting this one out a little bit late, but better late than never. And I'd like to take this time to thank Ron Kennedy and Dr. John Kraft for their telemetry, and especially Ron for his Insta360 video, which we'll be seeing some in the upper right-hand corner. This was an extremely large group today, and you can see that we're really well ordered. Looking at Ron's camera, and you can see Ron is actually in the upper part of the double pace line, and then looking rearward, you can see who is behind him, and I'm really excited to have that extra footage. Coming into the sprint zone, it looks like we got Anna up front with Ron, then Dean, then it looks like Felix and Michael, and then Carl, who hasn't been around in a while. A little bit of respite here, and I always appreciate a little bit of respite before going into the sprint zone and a reasonable warm-up, because the sprint zone is basically a 10-minute interval, and to get the best out of it, at least for me, I want to be reasonably well recovered. We got Ron and Anna coming off the front there, drifting back, and we're going to look and see who is going to take over there. Slight gaps opening up there. Michael, who was to my side, sagging back, not wanting to close the gap. Looking at Ron's camera, it looks like we got Anna taking a drink there, and here's a rare shot of me with my camera on my head, wearing the HP kit on my newly reconstructed Fuji, which is really a Tarmac Pro. It's black now, so if those were people wondering why my bike looks different, it's because the Fuji frame cracked. Anyway, looks like it is time to get the party going, and Daniel goes to the front, and there is a little bit of a chase, but lethargy by, I believe that is Dean of the Rio squad, knowing that it is a little too early to really go after Daniel in earnest. Not that he's not worthy of chase, but there are big men in the posse today. Biggest crowd I've seen in a long time. Don't remember what the count was, probably upwards of 26. And with that kind of firepower in the posse, it is too early. And you can see the lethargy in the field. The power's still good. My average watts almost 200, but no one is going after Daniel just yet. Good shot of Ian there. Got Marcelo. Looks like Ron in the yellow there, representing the breakaway team. Danny in the FCCT kit. 3 abreast, and it is a peloton who is just kind of enjoying the shelter back here. Even though, there's a lot of wattage being bled off here, and my instantaneous wattage, it looks like, was over 200. 30-second wattage, 207 right now. Slightly above my FTP, so I am working pretty hard here. Looking at Ron's camera, you can see folks in the rear just sitting in, and once we crest the hill, a little bit of respite. My power goes to 0, even JC's power at 0, Ron's power at 0, and Daniel has been brought back, but no one looking to take over just yet. This is kind of the respite period that softens people up. Nicely ordered pace line here. No one going out too hard just yet, and things are now starting to boil just a little bit with Felix going to the front. Felix riding extremely strongly these days, mostly impressive on his old school steed. Carl there in the not celeste color, but very muted green. Definitely something that you would want to wear in a race because it doesn't stand out. Something like what Ron is wearing, that bright yellow. If you are a marked man, that just makes it extremely easy, even with race brain and in a hypoxic state, to say, this is danger. Felix up front, and he is not working that hard, pointing things out under no duress whatsoever. You can see how he's just looking around. He is unconcerned with the pace, but controlling it. Dean going to the front and mashing out a massive gear as he takes over. And Daniel is quick quick to double up here, and I'm not quite certain what is going on. Dean doesn't look like he wants to drive the pace, and Daniel was not content with sitting back on any wheels and following. Definitely, if you're looking for someone who looks to go, a man who wants to go hard, it's Daniel. And there we go. JC and Curtis McElvain of TTH Glory and Fame and Legend, leader of the Store Ride, or East X leader, going to the front, and now it is game on in earnest. This is dangerous. And then we got Steve in the orange there. Yeah, this is a dangerous move here. You cannot let JC get off the front, and certainly not with Curtis. That would indeed be a death sentence for everyone. Rearward there, people starting to move up on the outside. Elisa looking strong, Jason looking strong, Marcelo tapping out a good tempo, and you can see when Marcelo is in good shape, his cadence is smooth. Carl on the inside taking a little bit of wind there. Looks like Ian with the bright yellow helmet back there. Good shot of Elisa from the Rio squad as she moves past me in the draft as I am sitting out just a little bit. Got Curtis right in front of me in the green kit, and it looks like things are starting to move around, and I am starting to get scraped back into the pack. And this is something that I do not want to really happen. At this point, I'm somewhat happy because I know Curtis is an extremely good wheel. And even though we're sitting out in the wind, or at least Curtis is a little bit, because it is a slight wind from the right shoulder, and you can tell, of course, because of the echelon, I am happy to be there. 30-second power has dropped, and my heart rate 172. Looking at JC's heart rate up 160, Mr. Kennedy's 155, JC's wattage up front 340, 350. As you know, he is hurting up there. 500, and this is that little grade. This is a selection point, and at this point, I expect people to be shelled. Looking around, and I apologize for Ron's camera going off a little bit, but that is the syncing of the Insta360 when it switches over to files. You have to sync for that. It takes a little time extra in editing to get that right, but it is worth it. And once again, thank you, Ron, for that footage. Here I am getting scraped back, and it's horrible. This is not good. And I see lesser men, and no disrespect to anybody, but I could be up there where they are, but because I was forced out of where I wanted to be. Now, truth be told, if this was racing, I mean, like, where there was money on the line, those people who took my spot in the line, oh no, that would not have happened, because I would have more aggressively defended my position. But at this point, it's only the sprint zone, and there is no need to get that assertive. As long as I am working hard, and I am in the win, and JC driving hard up front, and I am barely hanging on. Heart rate now 177. 30-second power 220, 219. I am not long for this earth, and it looks like JC must have dropped the wattage just a little bit, because it looks like I'm putting out, I don't know, like he's got, 30-second power 230, mine 180, yeah. And you can see that, we're starting to bump up just a little bit, and I don't think anybody wants to take over at this point. Happy to get some more shelter here. I'm kind of able to hang on. Got a good shot of Ron not too far in front of me, where people are just going. And there's Ron standing up on the pedals as the wattage increases. There's mine at 400. Ron's above 400 for a little bit there. And we are just going. And at this point, I am unable to hang on. Tired legs, heart rate high, and I just have to let them go. So we switch over to the Kennedy cam, and there's a good shot of Gail Bernhardt consulting, advertising on Ron's shorts there. Yeah, so if anybody wants some good coaching, you're a triathlon or a person or a runner or whatever, Gail's your person. Oh, and there's a violation of the yellow line by one of the Fort Collins team members. We won't call that out. It was, it was dashed yellow line. And maybe I'll have to augment the rules of engagement. But right now we're going to keep that as a hard line, because if there are cars behind us trying to pass, we want to give them at least their lane. Once again, a good shot of the Gail Bernhardt consulting advertisement as Ron goes by people, just like the stage of the Saturn V rocket being dispatched sent back into orbit, and Ron seems to have contact with the big men. And up front, you can see it looks like there's a little bit of a gap between, I'm guessing it's probably JC up there, given look at his power above 500, and he is going for it. And there's Danny on the wheel there. Nope. I think Ron must be on the wheel of the big men because he is still flying. But Danny was dispatched there. Curtis dispatched. And there we go. And I kind of wish I could get a little bit of peek around what Ron has there. But you can see the pistons just pumping, ramming and a thumping, and others pulled back. There goes Felix. There goes Carl, unable to maintain the pace of the strong men up front. This is epic. A good selection. Strong men. Power just being put down. And what can we say here? A good time was and definitely had by all. As you can see, the wattage it's been shut down by Dr. John and Ron, and I'm still going for it. I've got Marcelo on my wheel as we push towards the summit there. My 30-second power, 245, instantaneous power in the 250s. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good day for me. And I think I'm pretty happy with that Tarmac Pro frame. Handles a little bit different than the Fuji, but I definitely like it. Also, the upgrade to 11 speed with a bigger cassette. So being the frugal person that I am, for just a few $100s, I'm very happy with my new acquisition, but I digress. Yep, and there are the strong men up there. It looks like, is that, that looks like that might have been Curtis there. Nice job hanging on the big man there. Curtis Jensen, I mean. Yeah, that was good. Anyway, peace out, everybody. Until next time, party on.